The whole squad on the mission, you got to listen. We PoPolitickin, it's so dope when it kick in. That you can get in where you fit in. We straight PoPolitickin. The whole squad on the mission, you got to listen. You know what this is when we PoPolitickin. My money long like division, I proposition to put a fist in. We straight PoPolitickin. Hey yo, I rise like the sun in the east, running the streets. Same people that was coming in peace, some in the beast on the microphone. It's never a long and hard task. For God, I'm gonna smash they blog and podcast. Introduction to journalism 101 with Pharaoh PoPolitickin about where I'm from and what I do. What's up? It gotta be good. Interviewing everybody, you know they probably could take all the blood, sweat, and tears working all them years. Putting in 10,000 hours, it empowers careers. From the baby and Megan Thee Stallion to Yo Gotti, high as a kite, jet life currency in the party. With MC Light, J Prince said I rap a lot. Super Saiyan Black Kakarot with a Macintosh laptop in my Apple Watch, smoking Fraggle Rocks. 4 eyes got more lines and hooks than a tackle box. What? The whole squad on the mission, you got to listen. We PoPolitickin, it's so dope when it kick in. That you can get in where you fit in. We straight PoPolitickin. The whole squad on the mission, you got to listen. You know what this is when we PoPolitickin. My money long like division, I proposition to put a fist in. We straight PoPolitickin.
All right, y'all. Welcome back to PoPolitickin.com, your home for self-help meets hip-hop. Right now, we're live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. So check us out on all those. 1-2-1-2, place to be with Janelle Lenore. How you doing today?
What's going on? I'm good. I'm good.
I'm great. So I saw you the author. You have this book. I gotta get this. I gotta order the book. The name of the book is "The American Dream is a Scam."
Correct. Absolutely.
All right. So I have to build up the story because they say you got to save the cat. So before we go to why the American Dream is a scam, just take us back to let us know about yourself and upbringing and all that good stuff.
All right. So I'm from Washington, D.C., Chocolate City. It's not Chocolate City anymore, but it used to be Chocolate City. So I'm from Chocolate City. I'm a trainer by profession, and I dibble and dabble to a couple other business ventures.
You said what kind of trainer?
Personal training, fitness, wellness, health. That's me all day.
So how did you get into that?
So actually, it's crazy. So I used to date this guy. He played D1 football. So he got me. That was the first time I went to the gym. Ever since then, I fell in love with it. I was in the military as well. So we were paid to be fit. So it's been a part of my life for, I don't know, 14, 15 years now.
Oh, what branch were you in?
I was in the Army.
Okay.
In the Army.
Yeah, congratulations.
Congratulations for?
Because I was in the Marines.
That's good. Hey, no, I tell people I should have joined the Air Force. If I joined the Air Force, that would have been the best branch.
I missed out on the man. I'm just like, I don't know, because I know for me when I was in the military, it was you like so young and you just rebellious. Mm-hmm. So now I'm like, damn, they sure was paying us to work out. But when I was in, you just I don't want to work out, blah, blah, blah. But now you're like, damn, yeah, we was getting paid to work out, and we could have had an extra lunch if we worked out and all this good stuff.
Had you waking up 4 o'clock in the morning to bend and reach, squat, run, Indian runs, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, but we just had a Veterans Day, so happy Veterans Day. Then Marine Corps birthday was the day before.
Likewise, yeah, absolutely.
So you said, so how long you been doing the training?
I've been a trainer for how long has it been now? About 6 years. Okay. About 5-6 years.
Then I heard you say Chocolate City ain't chocolate no more. Why is that?
Gentrification. Gentrification. Most of us can't even afford to live out there anymore. Depending on what side of the river you're on. If you're on the other side, like White House and all that stuff, then those are $1 million houses now. So we all live in the county. I live in the county. So I live in Maryland now.
Yeah, they doing the same. I mean, I live in San Diego County, and they're doing the same thing. Like, luckily, like a couple years ago, I ended up getting a condo, but I can't afford a house out here because the house is like just a regular like 5-bedroom, 3-bath is gonna be like 1.5.
Yeah, I heard Cali was expensive. I was gonna move to LA maybe about 2 years ago, And I looked at the prices, everything, and I was like, never mind, I'll just stay where I'm at. But I heard San Diego was more expensive than LA.
No, I don't know about that. I say LA probably still, because LA like where everybody want to go to. Out here ain't nothing but like you just out here for it's a beach city, so you out here for the. But out there, it's lights, camera, action. I say you play chess.
No.
Oh, I was like,
so funny story. I have a piece of paint missing on the wall, so I put it on there.
Okay.
Just to cover the missing paint.
Thought you was a grandmaster over here or something.
No, I wish I knew how to play chess. I don't know how to play chess at all. I can play checkers though.
And then so I'm trying to, before we even talk, I want to ask you about your book. And I know it's a financial planning book. So I just want you to talk about your parents, because I'm trying to think like, well, maybe I'm just trying to, I guess the first thing I want to figure out is, okay, how did you learn about this? So can you talk about how was it growing up, like your parents and their financial habits? Did you notice that when you was growing up? Or
so I feel like my typical middle class family. We weren't rich, but we weren't poor either. Did they really teach me about this? No, they didn't teach me. This all comes from like my experience, me learning things, me reading books, and just comes from like my personal experience and my personal research. So they didn't teach me that, but I feel like at least most Black people I know, most Black families I know, they don't have someone to teach them like, hey, this is what you should do. So that's why I actually wrote the book.
Yeah, that was the next question I was going to say. Can you let us know why you wrote the book?
Yeah.
You can add on to it if you want to. You can add on to it.
I mean, that's pretty much it. I wanted to be able to give somebody a book that's easily digestible, so it's not technical at all, and it's easy to understand. So if you just take the time to read it and apply it, I think you actually can achieve financial freedom.
Okay.
Like,
and then I guess when I even saw the title, my first question, because I think this is what they call it, opinionated. So what is the American dream to you?
So to me, the American dream is basically working till you're about 67 and a half and then retiring. So you spend the most of your life working. You don't spend that time with your family, don't spend that time with your kids. You spend that time working, trying to survive, trying to pay your bills, doing all that stuff until you can collect the retirement. And then that's when you should live your best life. That's the traditional route that most people go.
And I would say, I mean, yeah, that's kind of like even like, yeah, that's like from the 80s and 90s. I think like nowadays, like, well, I don't know how old you are, but we look kind of similar age. But it seems like our generation, like, you just told me more ways to make money. And I know, I don't know if you know about Robert Kiyosaki.
Yeah, Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Yeah, whoever had that book called the seven streams of income. So I think nowadays, like, we thinking about making multiple streams of income, not just one. So that you kind of coming with that too?
Absolutely. I'm for multiple. I think one stream of income is too close to none. I don't think jobs are like super stable where they used to be. You have a job and you stay at that job for 30, 40 years. I don't think that's the case for most people. So I think the more income streams you have, the better.
Yeah, and I know you was talking about the military shit. I'm actually, that's like, I can't even, like, because when I joined, it was years ago, but when I joined, I wasn't thinking about nothing. But now I'm like, damn, it helped me so much, because it helped me get my house, the VA loan, and then even like disability, like stuff like that help you. And like I just, like, my goal is now, like, every time I see somebody young in the military, I try to let them know about this stuff, because they don't know it. Because even like disability is one stream, then you could just get a job and do so.
I mean, I think most people, when it comes to like, you think about retirement, like, most people are not going to start planning. You have to think like the average person, let's say 18, 19, you say plan for retirement. They're probably not going to, because it's so far away. So it's like, why would I plan for something that's so far away? When in reality, I think we need to change the definition. So in the book, I say, instead of retirement, I say freedom, like financial freedom. That is when retirement is an age, but financial freedom is a number. So when you have a certain amount of money, you can technically stop working.
I hear like an echo somewhere. I have my wife in there. I think my wife in there listening. If you're listening, you need to turn down the TV. I think she's listening to us talk. Yeah, I would say, so how do you feel about I guess the first one I asked you about stocks. How do you feel about like far as an
I think
investment tool?
stocks, I think is necessary. So I don't think you have to go and invest if you don't want to invest in individual stocks. Like you don't want to invest in Apple or Microsoft. That's fine, but you can invest in an ETF that tracks an index like the S&P 500. You can invest in that and just dollar cost average. So put some money in every month. So if you have, let's say, an IRA, you can put the max is like $6,000 a year. Put 500 in every month. Then you'll meet your max. Anything extra, put that in a taxable account. So I absolutely say invest in stocks. Do I say trading? No, you can trade and make money, but I feel like you have to really learn what you're doing. If not, you will lose money. Of course, investing does come with risk. So you shouldn't invest money that you need, but anything that you don't need and you can't lose, I say invest it. Absolutely.
And then what about like bonds and CDs?
So CDs to me is slow money. I don't think it's bad, but you can make more if you just invest in the stock market. So CDs also tie your money up. If you have a CD for 6 months, your money is tied up for 6 months. So it just depends on your situation. But I don't think that's bad. But you should do more than just invest in CDs. So I guess I'll just say this. I think you should invest in the stock market. I think every single person should invest in the stock market. I think if you don't invest, you're doing yourself a disservice because you're missing out. The stock market on average returns about 7%
Well,
annually.
I guess so. I guess what would you say about this? So I have a friend. Now,
Hmm.
I put him on the stocks. It was kind of like during COVID. So stocks
Hmm.
was kind of doing
Yeah,
good. And
everything was
I put him
jumping then.
on, and he was jumping. Then
Hmm.
now, and I even told him back then, I'm like, look, this ain't no quick scheme like usually with stocks. It's
Hmm.
long term. But
Hmm.
now stocks not doing that good. So people, he even told me, hey, it wasn't doing that good. We took it out. I'm like, why you take it out? Like that is almost like the game to me is they want you to take your money out so then that shit can shoot back up.
Thanks.
So what would you say to a person like? I guess what would you keep them from like understanding? Like, look, if it go down, it's gonna go back up. Just hold it. History even tells you if you go through history, it always goes
Yeah.
back up. Yeah.
I mean, you can pull up a chart and see the history of a chart. You can go to stock. I use stockcharts.com. That's my favorite one. Um, it is paid. You do have to pay for it, but you can go to yahoofinance.com, look up whatever. But my whole thing is scared money don't make money. So you can't pull your money out because it get red. So Warren Buffett said, be fearful when others are greedy, be greedy when others are fearful.
Huh.
So if it's red, that's the time that you want to buy because that's when you can make the most money from everything. If you're buying at the high of everything, you're not making any money. If you buy at the high is 120, that's the highest it's ever been. Why would you buy then? Because it's going to go back down a little bit. So you
Right.
want to wait. I don't say time the market, but look at the chart. See what the average is, see where it's a good buy in, then buy there. But don't buy at the high. So I think when COVID, everything was running up. So people were buying at the high, people were getting, hyped to it. So people bought at the high and it was coming down now. But it's okay. Even if it's coming down, like it's okay. It's gonna go back up.
And what you think about Bitcoin? Not Bitcoin, cryptocurrency.
So I don't know too much about cryptocurrency. I know that there's like a blockchain and I actually have a little bit of Bitcoin, a little bit of ETH, which is Ethereum.
Yeah, I
Have
got you.
those two. I kind of stay away from everything else because I don't fully understand it. Um, they say it's the future. I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to say I'm
Hey,
skeptical because I do believe it is something, but I just don't. I can't say I fully understand it yet. But I do
hey,
think it's worth it to pick the top two. I think the top two probably Ethereum, Bitcoin, maybe two other ones. Pick the top two, invest a little bit in it. I don't. I think that's worth it. But would I put like all my life savings in there? Absolutely not. I wouldn't
yeah.
do that.
I did notice too, like, because I'm going to school for cybersecurity,
Hmm.
so I've been going on the dark web, and I noticed everything on the dark web you have to
Hmm.
use cryptocurrency.
Hmm.
So I was like, oh, so I was like, just off that, I like it's not really going nowhere, but I know they had like a big thing with that. It's like a broker. It was called FTX. You heard about them?
Yeah, I did hear about that. He lost a lot of
Yeah,
money. I mean,
but
that was the same thing with Doge. Doge was like
yeah,
wasn't real. Like it wasn't anything real, but they ran it up. And then some people got money off of it, some people didn't. I mean, it's ways to it. I just feel like I don't want to say like give too much advice on that just because I don't know too much about cryptocurrency. That's very like it's not new, but for me it's like super super confusing. But I hope to learn about it eventually.
Yeah. How did you learn? Because you were saying you came from just a typical childhood upbringing.
Mhm.
Where did you learn about like the financial stuff? I can tell you know a lot.
So, all right. So this is like the whole story how this happened. So, um, grew up in the area, like kind of got in a little bit of trouble. Things happened. So I decided to go to the military, get myself together. Went to the military. After I finished the military, I came back home, and I'm like, well, I don't know what I'm gonna do. So government contracting is really, really big here. Like everybody's a government contractor or works for the government or something like that. So I had a clearance from the military. So I said, well, I guess I'm gonna do that. So my goal at the time, I said, well, I want to make 100,000. I said, if I make 100,000, then that means I made it in life. I'm set for life. Like that's it. Which is funny now to think about it, but that's what I thought at the time. So I worked. I think I was working 2 jobs at a point. Like I'm working so hard just to make this 100,000. So I'm working probably about 80 hours a week. So February the next year, did my taxes. She's like, yeah, I made like 110, 115, something like that. So I was like, okay. But I wasn't happy because I was like, I know how hard I had to work to do that. I was
Yeah.
like, in my head, I told myself, I said, if this is what I have to do to make this kind of money, I said, I just want to be broke. Like, I don't want to do this no more. I just want to be broke. I just want to chill. Like, this is too
Sound
much.
like you sound like me. I went through a similar. I'll tell my story after yours. I went through something similar.
Oh, yeah. So I did that and I had thought about it. I said, like, of course, I'm very, very inquisitive. So I'm just like, there's no way. Like I look up to like, Jay-Z, stuff like that, Beyonce. I'm always looking up to just always looking up people like that. So I'm just like, there's no way that Jay-Z and Beyonce sitting here doing all this that I'm doing. I said, this is not making sense. So at that point, my mother used to always tell me reading is fundamental. So I literally start picking up books and start reading books. Like reading books, learning, educating myself. Every time I had a question, I didn't know this. I'm like, let me read this book or whatever. My grandfather, he did tell me some things that finally started to make sense, and so I realized that we have been doing everything the wrong. Like none of the people we look up, well, I don't say we, but none of the people that I was looking up to were doing anything what I was doing. They were investing their money, they were starting businesses, they were buying real estate, they were doing those 3 things, not going and working for the rest of their life, saving at a company. That's what they were doing. So at that point, I realized like I messed up when I started learning so many different things like tax benefits and taxes and things like that, and how the tax code wasn't made for employees, it was made for business owners. Like all those things really helped me determine like I've been doing everything the wrong way the entire time. So that's pretty much how I found out everything.
Yeah, I remember I was a manager. And I remember I was so stuck on making 100,000, and I made
Mhm.
like 100. I got to like 103, and
Mhm.
I quit. No, I said I was like, shit. I guess it came out. I guess maybe think they give you that money, just whatever. I don't care about
Mhm.
money. I would say I'm like I'm in the rebuilding stage, but I'm kind of like where I was where I started, but I'm not working twice. I'm working like 50% less as hard. So
Mhm.
it's like you got to learn that, and then I think that's kind of like I don't know. I think like maybe it's kind of like your parents or like they always tell you you got to work twice as hard. That is a
Mhm.
false. Fuck that. No, you don't got to work hard. You
Mhm.
got to work smart. So I think we got to take
I
our
say that
kids
in a book.
twice as hard and all that shit.
I say that in a book. You have to work smart. Like working hard is a scam. Like they want you, but you got to understand. Like most of the people we working for, like they go and they set up these systems and they need you to work. So like people have to work. Unfortunately, like some people have to work, but you don't have to. If you really have a goal to say, hey, like I want to achieve financial freedom, um, it's possible. But you have to do what people who are financially free do. Like you don't have to even reinvent the wheel. Like the same things I just said: business, real estate, stocks. If you have a business, take that money from your business, use that to buy real estate and stocks. Start other businesses, but keep watching the money, flipping the money, keep doing that until you're able to get to the point where you have passive income 10, 20, 30, 40, whatever amount you want per month. I also talk about reducing your expenses. So like when you're trying to get to that point where you can be financially free, I think especially in the Black community, like at least where I'm at, everybody wants to buy the Benz, the BMW, the nice car, all these other things, which are cool, but delayed gratification is important. So if you
Hey,
can wait, hold that off, wait till you get to a certain point, but don't do it now because that money, let's say, I mean, I don't know how much a Benz car note. Like I drive a Lexus, so I can't talk, but I mean that little Lexus note isn't nothing for me. But if you
hey,
got saying some people with $2,000 car notes and stuff like that, well, that 2,000 you can do something with that. That's a good amount of money you can do something with.
hey.
So
You know what else they don't talk about with them
what
cars? With
what
like BMWs and stuff, they don't talk about the maintenance.
yeah,
That's
exactly.
like you buying, so it's like really like you buying the two cars
Yeah,
just off the
yeah.
maintenance.
Yeah, maintenance, insurance, all kinds of stuff. So all that money, I feel like you can use that for something else, and then you can still get the car. I mean, you can get the Benz. I'm not saying don't get the Benz. I'm saying wait until you're at a point where it's not really affecting you that much. But if you gotta get the Benz and you know that Benz is gonna make you got to slave at a job or something, I don't think you should get it. I think you should wait. Like just keep refreshing your money, keep washing your money, keep flipping your money.
Yeah, I was gonna say, but I know like in hip hop, it's a trend where a lot of people they'll fake it till they make it.
Hmm.
They'll get all that stuff just so people will think they got it. And sometimes they'll end up getting it, but sometimes like they just get so much debt because that money don't even last. You know, hip hop rap
Hmm.
money don't last, so that's why a
Hmm.
lot of these rappers end up going bankrupt and losing all their money because they
Hmm.
spending all this money to put up an image.
I mean, not even just rappers, people do it. I mean,
Yeah,
people would do it on social media all day. I definitely think, sometimes like if you have certain things, it can get you in a room with people maybe you wouldn't be in a room with before. Like it definitely can. But at the same time, if you know I gotta get this Benz, I'm gonna have to go get a loan, do it like that's a lot. That's too much. So I feel like be genuine. But that's why I always tell people like be mindful what you see on social media because everything is not it's not what it seems.
yeah. I remember even how you say the financial dream. I was thinking about if you I don't know if you heard did you hear Farrakhan when he was talking to Kanye and Ye and Kyrie Irving?
I didn't watch, I saw bits and pieces of it. I didn't see the whole thing though.
Yeah, like one part he said he was like our life is more than a piece of paper with a white man on it. So
Hmm.
like I feel like that sometimes too. I was like I always like look at stuff. Okay, if I say why I'm doing something, if I say I'm doing it for the money, there
Hmm.
ain't no good reason to me. Like if I'm just
Hmm.
doing something for the money, that's really not a good reason for me. Because what is money? Like it has to be deeper than just
Hmm.
people do a lot of things for money. You know what I'm saying? So
Hmm.
to me, it's like you always got to find the true meaning behind why you
Hmm.
move the way you move.
Hmm. I
Not
mean,
just
I agree. It's at the core. So for me, financial freedom is obviously the goal is to get money, but it's a purpose for that money. What can I do with that money? Does that allow me to spend more time with my family? Does that allow me to do things for my family? Those are all the reasons. So money is just a tool. I think everyone has to figure out. I feel like it's super, super. We make it so complicated. What do you want out of life? Like start with the end in mind. What exactly do you want? If you want to say, I want to go, some people say they don't want to work. If you say you don't want to work, I don't think it's anything wrong with that. That's cool. Some people say they want to work, but they want to do something they're more passionate about. Cool. You might say you want to sit on the beach all day, like whatever makes you happy at your core, not the bins, whatever. I feel like when you really have money, a lot of that stuff doesn't matter. Like it just doesn't because you're used to it. So if you're used to going to, Ruth Chris every day and Capitol Grill every day, okay, eventually it's like, all right, well, this is not interesting anymore. I want a home cooked meal or whatever the case may be. But what is it that you want? Once you figure out what you want, get to it. You don't have to wait. Like I guess my biggest thing is not waiting until you're 67, 70 years old to say, hey, I'm going to live life. The average life expectancy for United States is like 74.
shit. They said black man is like 52.
So
For real.
it's like if you're 74 and
Yeah.
retirement, so full retirement age right now, if you were born after 1961, full retirement age is 67 and a half. So if life expectancy is 74, what is that, 9 years?
No, but I'm saying if a black man, we gonna die when we 57, so we don't even make it.
Well, I know plenty of black men who more than 50, who more than 57. But I say all to say is that why would you do all that if it's not like if you only gonna be free for 7 9 why would you do that?
It's
Like
backwards. It's backwards.
it's backwards. You should live your best life now. But I also say be realistic. So I know people who say, well, I'm gonna live my best life, so I'm not gonna do nothing. Well, that's not smart because you have to make sure that you're taken care of. Like you don't want to be struggling and poor. Like I hope you don't want to be that way. So you have to make a plan and stick to it. But I think the biggest factor for most people I talk to is people are lazy. That's what it comes down to. I think people are lazy and they make excuses. So, oh, I can't do this because I don't have this. I can't do this because I don't have X. That's not true. You can do whatever. Like I've gotten everything from just sitting, grinding, making a plan, trying again. If something doesn't work, I try again, try again, try again. But you have to not be lazy. You have to really be committed to the whole purpose, the whole goal. If your goal is financial freedom, you have to be committed to it. It does require sacrifice. I mean, it requires you might have to change your friends. Like it just depends on whatever it is you need to do.
Yeah, I remember I had interviewed a porn star and she said that's why she did porn because she was lazy. I'm like, damn.
Because she was lazy.
Yep, like that's the easiest way to make money. I was like, shit, like ain't nothing else you could have did. Like that's crazy. Like,
Yeah.
you're right. I'm for real. You definitely right. I have heard a lot of people just don't do stuff because they're lazy. But I was gonna ask you because you threw that started business up like it's hella easy to start a business. So
It's not.
what's your tips for starting business?
Try again. Keep trying until you get something right. I feel like you're gonna fail way more times than you win.
But I guess like how would you because some people like I remember I don't remember her name, but I remember it was one girl, she started selling the pink sauce. But the shit wasn't approved by the FDA, so she had to take it off. So how would you I guess some people just they don't follow the correct they gotta understand that every business has
I'd be like, dude, I definitely am for being legal, like go the legal route with everything. Completely legal, do it the right way, learn. I actually feel like if you can go get a job in the business that you want to start, do that so you can learn on somebody else's dime. If you want to go be a chef or open up a restaurant, maybe go work at a restaurant just to see how they run everything. You can kind of learn, talk to people, you can consult something, but learn. I think it's a trial and error experience. So I feel like most people who have successful businesses have had plenty of other unsuccessful businesses.
Yeah, I had to like even with me in my career, I had to kind of reassess my career because I was just thinking like I want to go into a field, so now I'm going to cybersecurity. So I feel like cybersecurity is something that I can pass along to my kids and all that, and we can family and everything. Before I was just a manager, so that's kind of like harder. You can't. That ain't no. You just manage it. So I had to like reassess myself because I'm figuring like even any job you do, like you said, you want to do it where you can like follow like a restaurant. If you want to work a restaurant, go work your ass at Taco Bell for a few years, then take over Taco Bell or open your own Taco Bell. But if you're not doing a job where you can't do your own business with it, it kind of don't make no sense from the beginning.
Yeah, I mean it just depends. I feel like do what you got to do. Of course, business you need some money to invest in your business. So like I'm totally for like I think now people say, oh, it's something wrong with working. I'm totally for if you need to work. Do what you have to do. I mean, to get some money so that you can invest into your business. Do what it is that you need to do.
Yeah, I know in hip hop. I don't know. I think a lot of. I mean, they probably don't be lying, but a lot of people they always promote like, oh, I was a drug dealer, then I got into like Jay-Z. Like you say, you like Jay-Z. So what you think about Jay-Z? His dream, like he said he was selling drugs and all that. And just the plight of Jay-Z.
I mean,
how do you feel about that?
I mean, they all say that, so I don't know, but I like the fact that he has Marcy Ventures and stuff. Like I like the fact that he has transitioned from not just a rapper, he's a businessman now. So I actually still like Jay-Z. I like his music. I like Nas. I think KD3 is great. But I feel like it's important to have something like always think about the next step, the transition, because most of the time, especially when it comes to like rap, sports, all that, like you're not gonna rap forever. You're not gonna play sports together. Like I'm a trainer. Reality is this. It's a lot of women younger than me who are doing it. So I have to think, okay, what happens when, I'm 40? Like, am I still gonna be competitive? Like, I don't know. So I have to think of what's the next step for me after training. What's the next step? Like I'm always thinking about what's next, not just right now. Got to stay ready.
Yeah, I think with the training though, shit, I think a lot of people respect the because they know you got more age. Because like a lot of these trainers
Mm-hmm.
now, like I go to the gym, they like 21 years old, 22 years old. They don't know shit. They gonna get you hurt. They
Mm-hmm.
gonna have you doing all this crazy shit.
A
So it's
lot of
like,
them you see on social media, like a lot of them not even trainers. So
yeah,
like I was on like a rebellion, like a social media rebellion, because I'm just like, you have people promoting like tummy teas and green, all this stuff that's what to make you lose weight. I'm like, that's not, it doesn't true. I was like, if a tea is making you lose weight, it's making you pee water, like
right.
your water.
Just
That's
water.
it. Like it's not doing anything to your the fat content on your body or nothing like that. It's like you just have to literally have a good trainer to kind of guide you and what to do. But
Yeah,
I
I
feel
was
like,
saying, what's up?
no, go ahead.
I was telling you, me and my wife actually. So we did for 5 days we did just like a liquid fast, so we like mostly soups, and then
Mm-hmm.
now we doing vegan. So we probably like on our like this our second week going vegan.
Mm.
I like it. I like it actually feel good not eating meat for a while. Like I did pescatarian for a year before, but
Mm-hmm.
I like vegan because I think I was just eating so much because it just sometimes just feel good not to eat that and just see how your
Mm-hmm.
body and like damn, this what happened when I'm not doing
Yeah.
this. And like
I
now I
definitely
know
tell
like I'm
people
not
that kind
even
of
huh.
like I definitely tell people that like you don't have to have meat. Just if you're even if you're not vegan, you're a regular carnivore, omnivore, whatever you want to call it. Like you don't have to eat meat every day. Like you don't have to wake up, eat bacon, then eat a turkey sandwich for lunch, eat that. Like eat meat one time a day or something like that. Like you don't have to. And then red meat, like don't eat too much red meat at all.
Yeah, I think I'm enjoying the starting to it make you enjoy the other like the vegetables more and the fruit more.
Oh, absolutely. I make this thing called an acai bowl. I make that every
Mhm.
morning, like every
Okay.
single morning.
Oh, so you be on tilt every morning. You eat that because that should be how your brain popping. I be feeling that shit when I eat. I feel like Mario.
Yeah, I mean, I feel great when I don't eat healthy. I feel my stomach be hurting. I had some pizza. What I had last night? Pizza and Popeyes last night. Stomach was hurting last night, this morning, everything, and I'm like, I know why. So back to my acai bowls and green juice, smoothies, cold pressed juice, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, like I'm gonna say, like me and my it took us a while to get used to it, but I was like, damn, it actually kind of feel all right. Like I feel like the health effects, and I actually feel good. So I'm like you go to our refrigerator, that shit look like just all clean in there. So I'm like, it looks
Mhm.
like one of them, when they be like, come to my crib for them
Mhm.
little tours, shit all
Mhm.
clean there. But I was just like, nah, I think this is cool. I'm gonna start trying to do like this more because, like I said,
Mhm.
yeah,
I say make changes that you can implement permanently. Like I tell people, I don't believe in diets. I believe in making permanent changes. So what is something that you can permanently give up? So like soda. You don't have to have soda. Like if you go out to a restaurant or something where you want to drink, sure, but you don't have to have soda. So like the only thing I buy is probably the typical black person is I'll buy ginger ale, just in case my stomach hurt or something. But other than that, like I don't buy soda. Um, on the event that I'm having a drink, sure. Or if I go out to eat,
which
possibly.
ginger ale though? Which one?
I kind of like Canada Dry.
All right. That's the
I
one we.
like Canada Dry.
That's funny. You said the
So,
two that person drink that
I
ginger
mean,
ale.
typical. Because the thing is, I feel like the ginger ale, like, I feel like it's not even real ginger ale. Like, if you make your own, like, you can probably boil the ginger. You can make your own, and they actually have one. It's called Verner's. That definitely tastes like strong, but I don't know, something about the Canada Dry. I feel more comfortable just having it just in case something happened, like just in case my stomach hurt. But that's it. I don't buy Coke. I don't buy Sprite. If I go out to eat, 9 times out of 10, I get water.
Mm. No, I forgot to tell you too. So we doing no meat and no bread. So I
See,
think the bread is harder than the meat.
so here's my thing. Like, it depends on you. Like, do you need a lot of bread? But I work out. So my body can take a lot of carbs. If I showed you how much carbs I'm supposed to have a day, I can take a lot of carbs and I'll be okay. Like I'll be fine. But if you know that you're not as active or your body reacts negatively to carbs, then you need to reduce it. I'm not really for keto because to me, keto is not sustainable. Like your body is naturally meant to process carbs as energy. So when you take that away and start relying on other stuff, it kind of changes stuff. Like, so I don't agree with that. You can just reduce your carbs. So I still think you can have some, but they have like I used to give my clients, not give them, but tell them about this low carb bread. They have like low carb tortilla wraps and stuff. You don't have to have carbs every single meal, but making small changes. So if you know you eat, 3 cups of rice, you don't need that much. Half a cup or something like that. Um, so there's plenty of things you can do. But I just think it's important to make like changes that you can implement permanently. Like, what can I do? What can I change about my diet that I can continue to keep this like this? So stuff like drinking more water, eating more fruits, eating more vegetables, things like that. Like, how can we incorporate more? Even vegetables, stay away from canned vegetables, like do frozen. It's like the best thing. Just get a frozen vegetable. Usually we're frozen. As soon as they pick it, they flash freeze it. So it has all its nutrients. You can do fresh, of course, but if you're like me, I buy fresh vegetables and they go bad. So I just buy frozen.
Mm. Yeah, Tina said great combo. Tina Nouvelle, you know her? Tina. She said great combo, had to jump off, but let me know if you have another live chat. You see it?
I do.
Yeah, she already just commenting with us. What's up? What's up, Tina?
All right.
Cool. I would say, so why you a fan? You say you're a Beyonce fan. Why you a Beyonce fan?
I think Beyonce's great. I feel like she's not number one. She's a Virgo, right? I'm a Virgo. I just feel like if you're a Virgo, you automatically get points with me. But I
Mm.
like the fact, I mean, I don't know her personally, so I can't say that, but I like her music. I like her grind. I feel like she's very private. So I like the fact that she doesn't do anything. Um, she doesn't need that justification or gratification from the media. She'll just post something, boom. She dropped the album, like she's private. So I'm very, very private as well. So I like to kind of just do things, do my own thing. Um,
So what's your plans with the book? Like going on tour or what's going on?
um, that's the struggle, honestly, because I suck at marketing. So I'm just like, oh, what am I going to do? I want to do a book tour. I'm super super busy, so it's just like trying to make time for that. But I definitely have some things working to get it out there.
Yeah, I think you say you suck at marketing, but the name kind of markets itself. So I think you just gotta get it out because the name's gonna catch some people's
Yeah,
eyes.
it does. So people are like, oh, what's this? A Hate America book? And I'm like, no, it has nothing to do with hating America. Absolutely
Oh
nothing to do.
yeah, I thought that I forgot because you put on you said for the culture on the title too. What's the whole title of the book again?
So it's The American Dream is a Scam, a guide to financial freedom for the culture.
What made you put for the culture at the end?
Because I wanted to really grab Black folks' attention, like this is for us. So as it's written in my own voice, and everything like that. So I think it's important. It's important topics. I think especially for us, it's very very important. I talk about my personal stories in the book. So my personal stories. I think it's like I said, it's not technical. It's something that's easily digestible. It's not a long book. It's like 140, 150 pages, so it's not long. You can read it in a couple days if you sit down and read it. But it's stuff that's applicable. So I think people should. I think everybody should read it. The comments are great. You can go on Amazon.com, look at the comments. Comments are really good on Amazon. Um, it's a good book. I'm not just saying that because I wrote it. I actually have read the book a couple times, even though I wrote the book.
Mm. You a Migos fan?
Uh, no, can I say
I,
that?
I thought because you put for the culture, and even they had that song "Do It for the Culture."
I mean, I like certain songs. I can't say I'm like, oh, I know every song. Like I probably know what Bad and Bougie. I don't know.
You a Nipsey fan?
Yes.
Yeah, I already knew
Hurt
you
my heart.
because if you a Jay Z fan, you got to be a Nipsey fan. Cause I feel like
Oh,
Nipsey
because
was,
that $1,000 album.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm a Nipsey fan. I like Nas. I like a lot of Cali rappers. So Larry June, one of my favorite rappers. Jay Worthy, Burner, all
But
them. I like LES.
so who you like from the East Coast?
From the East Coast, Jay-Z, Nas,
Ain't no DC folks you like?
I like Wale and Shy Glizzy, but I don't like a lot of the new artists. I don't know. Like I'm not too. I don't know a lot of new artists. So like I know who Migos is, obviously. Who do I listen to like in Atlanta? Skipper the Flipper. He's not super mainstream. I listen to Florida rappers. I don't know. It's weird because like most people, especially from DC, like you don't hear them say, "Oh, I like Larry June. I like Dom Kennedy." Like you don't hear that most of the time.
No, you be on
But
you
that's
on.
just like my vibe or whatever.
You need to go and move out here. You listen to them
Too
like that.
expensive. So I'm between DC and Florida a lot. So I really want to go to Florida, like permanently. But Cali's cool. It's just it's too expensive. Way too expensive.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I've only been to LA. I've been to LA. I've been to Santa Monica. Yeah, Santa Monica. That's it. I've been to Vegas. Vegas is cool, but I wouldn't want to live there.
So I heard you was saying you into fitness. I know you're into finance. You got any more interest?
I own a couple properties. So I own a couple doors. I do all kind of stuff.
So you rent them out, or
you
rent them out, the properties, or
yeah, I have rentals.
So how you deal with that? Because I didn't see like so many videos where I saw a video just the other day where somebody moved out and the person left like basically 1,000 beer cans in the house.
That's nothing. So I had a tenant. This was back in August. So she had rent. She literally moved in, paid her security deposit, paid her prorated rent. They just didn't pay anymore. I'm like, I don't have a property manager for anything. I do everything myself because I use online systems. So I was like, I don't want to pay a property manager for something I can do myself. So, she stopped. She just didn't pay rent. And I asked her why. She told me she had kids. I'm like, all right, well, I don't know what that's supposed to mean that she got kids. And it was always, well, she go and pay. So she would submit a payment. The payment would kick back. So I'm like, okay. So I end up just asking her, like, look, so depending on where you're at, like laws are different. Like rental landlord tenant laws are different. So I felt like, all right, do I want to press the money right now or do I want her to get out? So my eyes, I said, I just want her to get out. So I asked her, hey, do you want to voluntarily leave? No, I don't want to leave. I don't want to uproot my youngest daughter. All right, cool. Sent her the paperwork, like, hey, start an eviction process. So went to court, did all that, had to hire eviction company, all that. When she finally, the day came, I wasn't here. I was in Florida. So I kind of just had somebody else handle the eviction. She basically got there. She got on the phone with me. She asked me, why was I doing this to her? And I'm like, what do you mean? You haven't paid rent. So I have no choice but to do this. She's driving a Benz. Her boyfriend's driving a Lexus.
How many months?
6.
Damn. You got for a whole 6 months on your ass?
Yeah. But see, that's so that property is in Maryland. So that's how Maryland is a tenant friendly state. Yeah. So and then after COVID, they had this thing where you have to give them 10 extra days. It's just basically a whole bunch of paperwork. So long story short, I had someone text me. So she got evicted. They gave her like until I think 5 o'clock to get her stuff because they put her stuff outside on the yard. Gave her till 5 o'clock. I'm not there, so I can't monitor it. But basically, somebody had texted me. One of the people in the neighborhood had texted me, and she terrorized outside the house. She threw paint all on the brick wall. She busted windows. She put toothpaste on the doorknob. She had called me, told me she was gonna kill me, and all kind of stuff like that. So, I mean, that's part of it. It is what it is. But I think I'll say that was a learning lesson because that was the first time in the 5 years I've been renting property. It was the first time I've ever had to like evict someone. Like that was the first time. So it definitely has changed my perspective on a lot of things as far as that.
And then so do you have to cover that or do you have like insurance that covers when the tenants don't pay?
No, I have to cover that.
Yeah.
So that's why as a real estate investor, you're supposed to always have reserves. So your tenants may not pay. So if you're in a state, let's say like Alabama or Florida, where you can get them out quickly, then that's fine. But if you're in a state where it's very tenant friendly, then they could be there for a year. It just depends on how fast the county moves. So you have to have reserves for all of that. So I had to pay everything while she wasn't. She didn't pay her electric bill. I had to pay that, pay her electric bill, pay the water bill. Only thing I didn't pay was like the gas bill.
Why did you have to pay the water? Because if you didn't pay that, wouldn't they got her out sooner? Or why did you have to pay the
No, so if depending on where you at, I know in Maryland, if your tenant has a bill, has a utility bill that they don't pay, it falls back on the owner of the property.
That's good to
So
know.
sometimes you can put something like you can put a stop on it. So like I put a stop on the water. So after a certain amount, they won't keep charging her. They'll just cut it off and then let that be the balance. Instead of saying, well, you're not paying it, but I'm going to keep charging you for water, they'll just cut it off. So like you do stuff like that. But like I said, will I buy any more properties in Maryland? No, I won't. Just because of that situation.
And then was it like some about that person? Like, man, maybe I should have thought about this person. Like any red flag you saw, or not really?
Nah, because the whole thing was like usually I'll step in, but I had a realtor do this. So I was in Florida. I had been in Florida back and forth. So I'm like, all right, look, I gotta go to Florida, do some things. Like paid the realtor $2,000 to take care of everything. Was supposed to be the background check, leasing, all that stuff. None of that was done. Because when I went and finally went behind him and looked stuff up, I'm like, she just got evicted like 4 months ago from another place. So like, how did this happen? And he don't know. So I think that's another thing. Like if you're going to work with realtor, you have to like do your due diligence just because realtors are in it for a check. Like they get a check once the property is sold, once it's rented out, like they get a check at the end of the deal. So they want that check. So they're going to do whatever they can to push forward, to move the process forward so they can get paid.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
But so nothing happened to him though, even though he gave you a bad tenant.
So I could try to like go to the board and try to sue him or whatever like that. But for me, sometimes I try not to get legal involved. So I just know in the future not to use him. And I definitely like word of mouth have told people like, hey, don't use him. So I feel like karma comes back. But did I really want to go and do all that? I did ask him to see, like we had conversations afterward just to see what he say. So what I was hoping he said was, hey, here's your $2,000 back for my mistake. Did that happen? No. It didn't happen. So I was just like, that's crazy. But I mean, it is what it is. I feel like it's part of the process. So if you do it long enough, I feel like eventually you'll have a bad tenant. You'll have a situation happen. But I'm actually glad. I'm glad it happened now, as opposed to 15 years later. Like now I'm 15 years in and this happens. I've never dealt with it. Like, all right, 5 years in, I got this out the way. So now I've learned it. So all right, I have experience to do this. If it happens again, I know exactly what to do. I know how to handle this. Like I'm not as freaked out by it that I was this time.
So and you're not working anymore? You just doing real estate?
Yeah.
Oh, you're doing training.
Training, real estate book. I actually don't train right now anymore. So possibly maybe start back again. But right now I just don't have the time.
That's what's up.
Yep.
So what would you like to leave the listeners with?
Go after freedom. Go after your happiness. It's possible to get everything you want out of life if you're willing to work for it.
All right, you said go after freedom. How you feel about Ye then?
So
Kyrie Irving, both of them. How you feel about them? I think like they going after their freedom. And
so you say Kyrie and Ye. So all right, I was a Kanye fan like since he came out. Like, do I like his new music? No. Like, I'll be honest with you, I don't like it. But I feel like Kanye makes good points. I feel like he just doesn't always deliver them in a way that's maybe easily understood. But I definitely feel like you have to have an open mind to be able to understand certain things. I have an open mind, so if someone says something, I'm kind of like, okay, well, let me be more inquisitive as to why they say that. I don't think he's wrong about a lot of stuff. certain things he says, I think could be wrong. I don't know. He has his opinion. Like, I feel like we're in the US, you have freedom of speech, but freedom of speech doesn't come without consequences. So it's kind of like Kyrie. Kyrie posted that. So to be real with you, I watched the movie. I know for a fact that everyone who has something to say about it didn't watch the movie. The movie's like it's almost 4 hours long. It's a very, very long movie. Did they really talk? Did they say like hate Jew? It wasn't about that. It literally was about how their perspective is that Black people are the original Jews or something like that. So like that was their perspective. So I think it just comes down to the other people who feel like that's not true. So because they feel like it's not true, they're like, oh, well, he's anti-Semitic. I didn't get that from the movie at all. I don't get that from him at all. I think he should be allowed to post it. So I don't think he's wrong for it. I think will there be backlash? Absolutely. Like all these companies and people are all owned by, a lot of them are Jewish who own those companies. I feel like that's expected. So I think he should continue to post whatever he wants as long as he's prepared for the consequences and the backlash. Like if he doesn't care about it, then cool, keep moving forward. So I didn't see an issue. I personally didn't see an issue with it.
Yeah, I guess my only thing with the Kyrie situation is, shit, why you ain't mad at Amazon then?
Yeah.
Amazon is selling the book. So even like I said it's just like they mad at Black people for selling the drugs, but we don't we don't bring the drugs in.
Yeah.
So why don't you be mad at the guy that's selling the book if it's anti-Semitic?
Because they not.
Because
they not. It don't. They're not gonna be mad at Amazon. Like they're gonna just keep talking about, oh, Kyrie, condemn him. Then I saw he gotta pay $500,000. I was like, how you gonna tell this man what to do with his money? Like
they made him pay that money. Then it's like 6 steps he got to do.
Yeah, he got to sit down with people and stuff. I'm like, I feel like all that is like buck breaking. They want to tell you, you gotta do this, you gotta do this, you gotta do this. Like that's just too much. Like he don't have to do all that. I'm like, at the end of the day, like let him play. Like y'all gonna be mad, y'all gonna get over it or not. Like I feel like everything is about opinions, but people have to understand that people have different opinions, and you have to be okay with that. People, like, I know people who vote for Trump. I know people who voted for like, okay, I don't get mad at anybody for their opinions. I'm just like, okay, that's cool. I might ask why, like, what made you do that? What made you feel that way? Okay. Sometimes they even have a good point, and I'm like, I can understand that, but it's okay to respectfully disagree. But for him to get the backlash that he did for making a post, I think is wrong. He's not getting paid off the movie. He didn't endorse the movie. He just, what did he say? Watch the movie, wake up, something like that. Like, all right.
What about Ye?
Same thing. I think Ye said, like, when he said the whole George Floyd thing, I was like, that was wild. But I think overall, I think he said some things that are true. I think his delivery is just off. I think his delivery is just off. So I don't think everything he said.
Even with the George Floyd thing, so I was like, damn, because I didn't watch that Candace Owens documentary, but I had to look that stuff up when he was saying he had fentanyl in the system when he died, and it did say he had fentanyl in the system when he died.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, I don't know. I think some of this shit, like,
I think he says a lot of things. So even when he had said like slavery was a choice, people were mad at that. So the way I took it, and I don't know if this is how it was meant, but I took it that Black people stayed slaves. So I mean, if you think about it in that aspect, sure, it was a choice if we stayed slaves, but at the same time, so it could come from two sides. So if you a slave and all you know is slavery, then you might be like, damn, I don't want to be a slave no more, but I don't know what else. So like, damn, I guess I'm gonna be a slave. Like if you had, however many slaves to one master or a couple, people they had to answer to, like, sure, they could have done something. So you have like Nat Turner who went and they had to, he rebelled. You have different slaves who you hear about who did rebel, but in a sense, people did stay slaves. I mean, like, I took it like that, but I didn't take it as he meant anything like negative about it. But I heard recently, like, he wasn't even talking about that. He wasn't even talking about slavery. He was talking more so about like contracts and stuff. That's what I heard recently. But who knows? But again, it goes back to having an open mind. So just because someone says something, oh man, that sucks, I hate you. Nah, like it's not that. It wasn't that deep to me.
You know what? Too, I realized with Kanye too. I was like, man, everybody be getting mad at 50 Cent and 6ix9ine, but Kanye is like an original troll. He be trolling. He been trolling since that damn George Bush don't like black people. So Kanye say, I think he realized these people, whatever I say, they're gonna eat up. So he gonna say the most. Like, how long was people talking? We still talking about Kanye. It was like two weeks later. So he knows what to say to get his name out there. Like, it's like the perfect marketing what he does now. So I realized that, but I think John Sally was saying, I thought what he said was good. He was like, man, just when you see all this stuff like this going on the news, just look around. He said, take a step back and look around and see what's really going on. He said usually that stuff is in the media just to blindfold you from what's really going on.
Yeah. So. I mean, the media, I took the media has an agenda. Like, there's an agenda, which is why, like, I don't watch, like, it's some stuff I just don't watch. I don't watch too much news anymore. Like, I kind of look up the basic stuff. I don't, because it's usually negative. So I'm like, but it's an agenda. That's the whole reason. I remember when I went to college, I studied like terrorism. The whole purpose of terrorism is terrorists use the media to get their word across. So they know the media is going to exploit everything they do. So that's why they go and they send videos. Like, they sending all that stuff is for a reason. They want to incite fear. So the media wants to have the agenda, whatever the media says. But again, it goes back to only certain things can be displayed, because the media companies, who are they owned by? If you look up who they're owned by, certain families and stuff like that, like Anderson Cooper, I believe he's a descendant of the Rockefellers. Like, you have to look up all this stuff and see like how everything is connected. So, okay, well, if that's the case, all right, well, I'm gonna say this. So, like, I guess in a sense, like, I feel like Kyrie is expected to get backlash. You work for the NBA. So you're not getting you get money, but it's not coming.
Yeah.
It's strings attached to this. So that means, okay, well, I gotta do this. So of course, if you go against that, they're gonna stop you on the hand. No, you can't do that. No. Like, we pay you. We in control here. So, like, again, it goes back to, like, a lot of stuff is connected, so it's expected. But I think, even like, to go back to Ye, like, when he was mad before about the whole, like, I remember when Ye was first trying to get into fashion. Oh, well, they don't want to support me. They don't want to support me. He should have been doing his own thing. So it's funny because when Sway interview, Sway told him that, and he, oh, you ain't got the answers, but clearly he did, because you should have been did that. But I think Ye wanted that support. Like, he wanted support from all these brands prior to that. But again, it all comes with, like, strings attached. It comes with something to it. So I felt like at the time, Kanye had a big enough, like, support follow. That's when Kanye was hot too. Like, was it? He could have easily, like, did the same thing. Maybe he probably wouldn't have had the knowledge, maybe, of everything, like, not even the design part, but the process of how it works. He may have not had that knowledge, but I think he could have did it and been fine, and had just Yeezy be a standalone brand. I think it would have been cool. Like, I know he was selling the clothes or whatever at one point. I remember I was in Atlanta at Lenox, and they had like a pop-up, and his shirts was like $300-$400. I was like, yeah, I'm not buying that. But
nah, it's crazy. Yeah, we'll see. Hopefully everything work out with him, man. I want to see what happens to Kanye after this.
Yeah, for sure.
He lost a lot of money.
He's still rich. He still got more money than me and most people. So, I mean,
well, what you think about like what Farrakhan was saying? Farrakhan said, he's like, did he really have that much money? Because he was like, he said they giving us stuff, they put it on paper, but they ain't giving it to us. Because he's saying if he had that much money, how could you really lose that much money if you really had that much money? You know what I'm saying?
Well, and that's true, because a lot of stuff, when people say, like, for example, millionaire, right? Most people who are millionaires or whatever have money, it's not like, oh, I got $1 million in my bank. It's net worth. So how much is this property worth? How much is this worth? How much is this worth? How much is all this stuff worth? Like, on paper, I'm a millionaire, but do I have $1 million in my bank account? To be real with you, no, I don't. So I feel like all this is like, it's hypothetical. Like, all right, if I was to sell this or whatever, but even if you sell something, you may not walk away with $1 million. Well, you probably not because of taxes.
Yeah.
So like I think that's true. So a lot of stuff is valuation, is how much was this contract worth? How much is it's all valuation. So it is, in a sense, it's monopoly money. Like it's not real, particularly. Like a lot of everything is monopoly money. It's just hypothetical. Like most people don't have thousands, 100. Like most people don't have that.
Yeah, once they took away the gold, the dollar being backed by gold, that's why they did that. So now you can just print money up. You couldn't do that before when you had it backed by gold. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of stuff that people just gotta like open their eyes and understand. So I feel like I've always learned like be slow to speak, very quick to listen. So like I listen, I'm a very observant. So some people say, "Oh, you're quiet." I'm an introvert. Will say I'll talk, but I'm an introvert. So I do a lot of listening and observing. I'm like this, and somebody say something, I'm like, I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna look that up. Like I'm gonna look this up. Like that's the type of person I am. So I think every time somebody says something, so like I said, when they were mad at Kyrie, like I'm like, okay, so what I did before I even had anything to say about it, I said, let me go to Amazon, find this movie. Movie's boring as hell, number one.
That's what you
But
bought. That book was like $40 too.
nah, not the book, the movie.
The movie's like $40.
Nah, not when I got it. The movie was like $7.99, $9.99. I mean,
the price up there.
They did.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they're capitalizing off of the hype. But yeah, I got it. Like I said, it's like 3.5. It's at least 3.5 hours long. It's very, very long. So if you ever seen Hidden Colors, it reminds you a lot of Hidden Colors. But Hidden Colors, I'm saying it funny. Hidden Colors is way more like interesting, exciting. This movie was very, very, very dry and boring. Which is why I say I know everyone hasn't watched the movie. Like there's no way possible that everyone said, "Oh yeah, he posted it. Oh, I just went and watched that movie." No, you made an assumption because it said Hebrews and Negroes. You made an assumption that it was this, and that wasn't the case at all.
Yeah, I was gonna hit because I heard you. I actually got that book. The book is 36 hours. I ain't read it yet.
36.
Yup. I was like, what he talking about that damn long for?
I didn't know they had a book.
Yeah, it's a book. I got the book off Audible.
Yeah, I didn't know they had a book about that. Yeah, it's interesting. So I think I can't say like I know I studied like a couple of religions and stuff, but I actually was recently reading more about like Judaism and its similarities to Christianity. So Judaism is basically like the first the Old Testament, and the Bible is like the New Testament. So I read about that. As far as speculation, were Hebrews originally black? Like I don't know. Like who am I to say? So like I don't know. I'm spiritual, but I'm not religious. So I feel like my idea is whatever you believe in, whatever makes you happy, like go for it. But you can't be mad at somebody else for believing that. So like they shouldn't be mad at the black people who believe that. They shouldn't be, nobody should be mad at that. Like I don't feel like that's disrespectful. If they honestly wholeheartedly believe that, you shouldn't be mad. Why be mad about it?
I was gonna say, I sound like you're a Tariq fan. You dropped like 2 of his books, his movies. I heard you say Buck Breaking and Hidden Colors. So you a Tariq fan?
To who?
Tariq.
Who's Tariq?
He the one that came out with Hidden Colors.
I thought Hidden Color was Umar.
No, that was Tariq.
That was
and he did Buck Breaking. He did Buck Breaking and he did Hidden Colors.
Nah, I ain't never heard of him.
Oh yeah.
I know the term. I know what the term Buck Breaking means, and I've seen Hidden Colors. Yeah, but I thought Hidden Colors because what's his name? Umar Johnson used to always promote Hidden Colors. So I remember I watched that, and I was like, oh man, I watched all kind of stuff like that.
Yeah, so the guy that like Umar was on it, but the guy that produced it, his name's Tariq Nasheed, and I think he went all the way to like Hidden Colors 4.
You said where?
He went all the way up to Hidden Colors 4.
Yeah, so I think I saw 1 and 2, and they had a movie like on what is it? Was it VHS or DVD? But I don't have a DVD player anymore or VHS. So like I don't know if they do like downloads. Do they do downloads? I think Hidden Colors is dope because I feel like, especially black people, like and I think that is like the root of a lot of the issue is like black people who are born in the United States of America. Most of us don't really know where we come from. Like I remember I did Ancestry, like because I was like when I was in the military, it was a guy, he was Asian. He said his family has like this I don't even know, like this book with like every single generation in it that goes back years and years and years. I was like, wow. They asking me, oh, so where do you come from? I'm just like, DC, I guess. Like,
monkey and shit. That's what I say.
yeah, I was like DC. I was like, I don't know, like I don't know. It's like, so what are you? Are you Jamaican? You African? I said, I'm just regular black, I guess. I don't know. So I end up doing the ancestry thing just to see, and of course it told me like Ivory Coast, Nigeria, stuff like that. So I was like, okay, cool. But did that really tell me anything, to be honest with you? No, because I still feel like I don't know where I come from. And I think we were taught, like I was taught basically, you know, we came here as slaves, and then slavery ended in 1865, and that's that. So it's like if I go back to like my grandmother, like I know where my grandmother's from, she knows where her mother's from, but after that, like I honestly have no idea. I couldn't tell you.
Do you listen to Dane Calloway?
Nah, I'm gonna look that up.
You gotta listen to him. He's saying that basically like his theory is how they say we came over here through the slave ships and shit. Mm-hmm. He's saying that's false, and he's saying we basically the original Indians. So, but a lot of people agree with him, like in like the way he break it down with the knowledge and the research. Mm-hmm. Like he researched that shit thoroughly, so I'd be like,
well, because people, you know, I feel like when I was growing up, people used to always say like, "Oh yeah, I'm Cherokee. I'm Cherokee." I'd be like, oh, "Okay," but the crazy thing is, like, my grandfather's mother, she actually was like Native American. I don't know, so it's like it's weird because when you look at, and that's the thing, when you look at ancestry, I'm like, I knew that I was told she was Native American. If I even showed you a picture of her, you'd be like, "Oh, she looks Native American," but it doesn't say anything on ancestry about like Native American or that. It just says go right back to Africa.
I don't know. I think they're trying to keep that shit away from us.
But well, I think Ancestry also is not a black owned company. Like it's, I don't know, but it's not a black owned company. So I feel like, again, you gotta be skeptical about a lot of that kind of stuff. But I just feel like research, reading. Like I said, I've researched. I'm still not done, but I've researched. I have family who's Muslim. I have family who's Christian. I have family who's like me. I feel like my younger family is like me, just spiritual. Like I believe in God. I believe there's a heaven. I believe there's a hell. I believe that there's certain principles you should live your life by. I believe in all that stuff. But do I say like, hey, I'm Christian, I'm Muslim? No. I've been to a mosque. I've been to the church. Like, I don't know. So I just feel like for me, there's a lot of similarities. So I think if people were a little bit more open, you can see that, hey, there are a lot of similarities in this. But I think I can say like my overall, I guess if I had to come up with one conclusion, I would say that there's one God, but there's multiple paths. So everybody has a different, pathway that helps them get there. And that's cool with me.
Hey, I had I was gonna tell you, so I actually took the ancestry test too. And but I couldn't believe it because, man, I was like, damn. So on my mom's side, it was saying we was related to Nelson Mandela. And on my dad's side, it's saying I'm related to Pharaoh Ramses II. So I'm like, shit. So I don't even want to hardly believe it.
I got some big dogs in my blood.
Then I took the DNA one too. So I took two. And the DNA one was basically saying the same stuff. So I'm like, shit. Yeah. But I took both of them just to double check it. But have you did that one? Have you took both of them? Or you just took one?
I know there's one. You talking about the one that say like it's a DNA one.
It's the it's the ancestry doc. It's the 23andMe one or something.
Yeah. Nah, I just took ancestry because are they not the same thing?
No, I did ancestry. Ancestry, I did that one because I've been working on. Actually, I think I had a school project like in 2005, and it was like do your family tree, and I think I did it on there, and I just kept adding. But then the 23andMe one is the one that was telling me about Nelson Mandela and Pharaoh Ramses. So I would take that one too, just to see if they match. But my shit was matching. Like it was like pretty much the same results on my stuff. So I was like, okay.
I heard there was a black-owned one. I don't even know what it was called. I heard there was a black-owned one. I said I might, but sometimes I'm like, man, do I even really want to know all this right now?
I was going to do a black-owned one, but I was like, man, that's the problem. See, now this is the thing about black-owned stuff. Sometimes I'm trying to do the black on one. It costs like 3 times more than the other ones. I'm like, come on now, like shit. Like you know, like why
black people always try and get. Let me
you charge your shit $400. Now you know the other one cost about $75, but then you want to charge yours for $200-$300. You
Shoot, I think I got mine off of Groupon or something like that. Because I don't want to say I paid. I feel like I paid like $40 for it. $40, did a little swab thing, and came back.
23andMe got more tests on it too. So yeah, try the 23andMe just to make sure they match up.
What you mean more tests?
Then you know if it's just legit.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that, but I'm saying black people, we need to be powerful. We need to be free. We need to do what we are meant to do, whatever our purpose is. Like we need to do that and focus on that, and not focus on all the other stuff, all the distractions going on in the world. So absolutely, go get my book.
All right, I want to say thank you for coming through politicking with me.
Appreciate it.
Did you watch Black Panther yet or no?
Nope.
All right,
I'll go see it eventually. I don't know.
All right,
was it good?
I ain't seen it yet either. I was gonna ask you about it. I'm waiting till it come on. I'm not going to the movie theater. I gotta wait till it come on the TV, the streams.
Yeah, I might do that.
I'm just not. I don't know. I'm not going. I'm into going to movies no more like that. Especially all these germs flying around.
Yeah, and all these active shooters. You hear me?
You got any shout outs?
Nah, you can get the book at www.americandreamisascam.com. You can search it on Amazon. My Instagram is JALE finally free.
JELE finally free?
JALE finally free.
Oh, yeah, that shit popped up right when I.
So, be real with you. Most people know me by Jayla and not Janelle. So my nickname.
I was right earlier.
Were you?
Remember when I was saying how did I pronounce your name? I said it a whole nother way. I was right then, huh?
Well, I didn't know because I feel like I didn't even know. But most people call me Jayla. My name is Janelle, but most people call me Jayla.
Man, that shit, I don't know, man. I think it's like I don't know what's going on with these computers nowadays because you just told me your name and I was like, let me type it in. And I just typed in J and the name came in exactly how you told me. I'm like, how did that just like? Is he listening to us talk? And he's like, I swear I typed in J and the whole thing came up right here. So let me get off this computer. But yeah, I want to say thanks for coming through politicking with me again.
All right, I appreciate it.
All right, y'all, we out. Let me stop it.